The way that Cambridgeshire Police is organised is set to change. 3 existing command units will be split into 6 districts, each with their own commander. But with a £20 million funding gap, how will the force cope with the changes? Well, yesterday, the Chief Constable of Cambridgeshire Police spoke to our reporter, Wasim Mirza.
There are currently 3 basic command units, which is actually quite a lot for a small force. It's quite expensive in terms of the infrastructure needed to support it. So we've got South Cambs, East Cambs and Cambridge City is one basic command unit. We've got Fenland and Huntingdonshire as another, and then we've got the unitary of Peterborough as the third. And what we're going to do is break that command unit down, because each of those at the moment has a chief superintendent and a superintendent. And what I want to do is take that unit of counting, if you like, and move it down to district, city and unitary level. So each of those 6 parts of the constabulary will have their own commander, who will be responsible for the delivery of day-to-day policing in that area and responsible for meeting the needs of those communities.
Some people listening to that might say, that's wonderful. Where's the money coming from?
Well, the money should actually be cheaper than it's costing us now, because there will be fewer very senior officers, and because of all the work we're doing in the rest of the constabulary to take money out of the organisation as best we can without hitting operational cops.
What is the role going forward for the smaller stations dotted around the county?
Well, their role is going to be what it is now, which is to really engage with their communities, get better at listening, better at explaining, better at deciding with the community what we're jointly going to do to make that a better place to live where we can. Where those problems are policing problems, we want to get involved in some of the small things that we haven't maybe got involved in the past, where we've got the time to.
That was Wasim Mirza reporting here on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire, talking to the Chief Constable Simon Parr of Cambridgeshire Police. Well, joining me on the line this morning is Richard Taylor, who's an urban blogger from Orchard Park, which is on the outskirts of Cambridge. A very good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, Jeremy.
And also Stephen Gidlow, who's from Cambridgeshire Countryside Watch. A very good morning to you. It's Stefan, excuse me.
Morning, Jeremy.
Thank you both for joining us this morning. Richard, I'll turn to you first of all. What's your reaction to this restructuring of Cambridgeshire Police?
Well, one thing I like about it is that it's bringing the organisation of the police into line with the local council. So I think that might help us get more democratic influence over the police. And I think that's something that's really important. I think that's something that works quite well at a very local level already within Cambridge, where local councillors set the police priorities and hold the police to account for them. That's something that perhaps these reforms will mean it's easier to do at a higher level, at a district level.
What does it mean for you living in Orchard Park in particular? Because we've heard that you make up one of these areas then, which comprises of South Cambs, East Cambs and Cambridge City.
Well, I live a little bit closer to the city centre than Orchard Park, actually. I live in Arbury, but one of the problems we've got is that the city boundaries don't exactly match what most people think of as a city. So, for example, up in the north of the city towards Orchard Park, the city boundary cuts across there, and it also cuts across in Cherry Hinton. So I think that is one of the problems. If you're going to start policing in Cambridge City especially, I think that's the right thing to do. But at the moment, technically, the boundaries of the city council area don't exactly match what most people would think of as a city.
OK, so that's sort of around the city area. Out in towards the Fens and into the more rural parts. Stefan, what's your reaction to this decision?
Well, obviously we don't know the detail how it's all going to work yet. We had a meeting with the Chief Constable about a month ago, and he made it quite clear he wanted to engage with all the communities within Cambridgeshire. And obviously, seeing as Cambridgeshire is 91% rural, it's good news that if the way they're going to target the police in will engage far better with the rural community.
Are you in any way frustrated by this in some respects? Because I feel like we've been here before, sort of surrounding the talk of regionalising control centres. People were up in arms saying, when I pick up the phone, I want to talk to somebody with local knowledge, and we were told it's not important, it's not vital, we can still police effectively. It sounds as though we're sort of backtracking and saying that local is important, Stefan.
Absolutely, and a lot of our members obviously are farmers, and they get quite frustrated when the police officers turn up not as quick as they hoped to do because they couldn't find the farm. So hopefully, if they're going to concentrate on smaller areas, they get to know get to know the area better and provide a better service.
Which is what what listeners have been calling out for to us for years. Are you surprised that this can happen? This move, which seems to be for the benefit of the local community, can happen in the face of spending cuts?
Yes, to a degree, but Mr. Parr appears to feel that there won't be any extra costing, and let's see. Again, we don't know the nitty-gritty of what's actually going to happen, so it's early days yet.
I don't know if you caught the interview earlier, Richard, but Simon Parr also mentioned that this is working in unison with the success of these surgeries which have been announced as well. Is that a move that you welcomed?
Well, I think that what I really support is councillors setting the priorities. I think if he follows the model that we've got in Cambridge City, and if that to be expanded across the county, that would be the way to go. But at the moment, I think there's sort of far too many ways at a local level to get involved in trying to influence the police. So personally, I wouldn't go for the surgeries, and I wouldn't go for some of the mechanisms which don't involve local councillors. And I put the power with the democratically elected representatives rather than just those who turn up.
How does that model work, Richard?
Well, every quarter or so, 3 or 4 times a year, in each area in Cambridge, the city and county councillors hear from the police on what they've been doing in the last period. They hear some suggestions from the police on what they think they should be prioritising, and councillors and local people make their suggestions as well. And when it comes to the vote, it's the elected representatives who decide what they're going to hold the police to account for working on in the next couple of months.
Okay, very simply then, is this, from what we know of this stage of this restructuring, thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle? Stefan?
Well,
thumbs up. We want the police to engage far more easily with the rural community, and hopefully this will work.
Richard?
We don't have a lot of the details yet, but there's certainly some very good bits. But I'm sure when the details come out, there'll be some less desirable elements.
Okay, so you're middling, would you say?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, Richard, thank you very much. Richard Taylor there, who's an urban blogger from Orchard Park, and also Stefan Gidlow there from Cambridgeshire Countryside Watch, looking at the two elements of this restructuring facing the cities and the more rural parts of Cambridgeshire. It's coming up to 14 minutes past 8.
BBC Radio Cambridge.